We appreciate you taking time off your busy schedules in joining us today. Honorable guests, participants, and delegates, today we assemble to inaugurate AALP and to witness the first international conference organized under its patronage. We believe that the first inaugural international conference of AALP, titled Realizing Asian Century, Understanding International Law and Governance, with participating institutions, professors, and delegates around the globe, will bring everyone together to formally establish the association. Ladies and gentlemen, the platform of AALP that we present to you today is a product of 2 years' worth of brainstorming, meetings, and idea generation. The Asian Association of Law Professors is aimed at developing greater partnerships and deeper relations between the law schools in South Asia in particular and Asia in general, and it is introduced with the same objective. It is our great pleasure to announce that at the outset, we have 6 founding institutional members and 86 founding individual members, and with time and support from all our well-wishers, we are positive that it will only develop and grow. Dear all, proceeding with our ceremony, I now request all of you to stand in your respective seats for our national anthem. I believe we have come a step closer to realizing our common dream. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to direct your attention to the next phase of our program, that is introducing our chair and our guest of honor and keynote speakers. With immense pride and pleasure, I invite you all to welcome our chair for the opening ceremony of our conference, Professor Dr. Yuvraj Sangrola, Executive Director and Principal of Kathmandu School of Law and former Attorney General of Nepal. Professor Dr. Mizanur Rahman, University of Dhaka, former Chairperson of National Human Rights Commission of Bangladesh. Professor Liu Junrong, Professor and Executive Director, Center for Trans-Himalaya Studies, Lisan Normal University, China. Professor Prakash Kesi, Kathmandu School of Law, Nepal. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for our guests. A little louder, please. Professor Zakir Hussain, Chittagong Independent University, Bangladesh. Professor Kanwal D.P. Singh, Dean of USLLS Guru Gobind Singh, Indraprastha University, India. Professor Saroj Vyas, Director and Principal, Fairfield Institute of Management Technology, India. Professor Ram Krishna Timal Sinha, Executive Director and Founder Principal of National Law College, Nepal. And Mr. Muhammad Smail Khan, Project Director, Pakistan Institute for Peace Studies, Pakistan. Further, I would like to welcome our esteemed professor from Kathmandu School of Law and attending universities and our delegates, whose role will be imperative in foundation and development of AALP in the days to come. We will now start with our welcome address, for which I would like to invite Professor Prakash Kesi from Kathmandu School of Law.
Professor from Bangladesh, China, India, Pakistan, Nepal, and respected by Sir Madhav Sir, all professors, participants, and dignitaries on the desk. Very good morning and namaste. On behalf of organizing committee, as well as Kathmandu School of Law, I welcome to you from the bottom of my heart. Few days before, the weather of Kathmandu was very hot, and from yesterday, we are getting very cool weather. Not me, myself, weather of Kathmandu also ready to welcome to you. So again, welcome to you. More than 60% people entire the world living only in Asia. And Asia is especially very highly diversified country That is the beauty of we Asians. But we have so many concerns, so many issues. Within the Asians, we have crisis of faith. Therefore, we have conflict within the nations. But what is the commonality within us? We are very socially, historically, very close. Therefore, we are here. So again, I welcome to you. Before 18 years, me and my friend and respected Eurusher, we have a dream how to develop legal education within the Kathmandu, within the nation, within the Asia. Therefore, we try to make center of excellence, that is the KSL. Today, many more my students, they are studying entire the world, Harvard's, Oxford's, Cambridge, so many in China. This is not only effort of us, because we have so many supporting hands, especially we call Zakir Nat Hussain Shangrola, Mizarur Rahman, Madam Sharaz. We are working together, and therefore I believe we law professors have no gender, no sex. We all are professors. Therefore, this platform will be best platform to discuss the future issues. Because being a profession, we are responsible to mold the students and reform the society. Therefore, I know, we believe, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We all are relatives. Therefore, again, I welcome to you. I hope your Kathmandu stay will be meaningful and fruitful. Again, thank you very much. And before I leave, I say, you are not our guest. You are the part of this association. You are part of our body. Therefore, again, from the bottom of my heart, from the KSL, we welcome to you and hopefully say our discussion will be lead the entire the world. Thank you very much.
We invite all our guests to formally welcome and inaugurate the program by unitedly opening the banner for AALP.
My institute, Pakistan Institute for Peace Studies, is a research institute based in Islamabad, where we mostly specialized or conduct research on security and political issues of the country. And we engage with a host of players, including policymakers, parliamentarians, civil and military authorities, and obviously our civil society. This, I think, is very important conference when we talk about Asia connectivity and international law. I just wanted to present before you two of my submissions, which I think has come to our knowledge from our work in Pakistan. My first submission is that while we are getting connected globally, our problems are global in nature. They emanate from our connections with each other, whether economic or security wise. Our solutions mostly have been nation state oriented. So if you look at the security issue, and that's where the contradiction or the gap comes in. If you look at the United Nations, for instance, United Nations performance on counter-terrorism actually is grilled for its inability to take all the states on board. And then when it comes to economy, although much of the world is connected economically, and we see it time and again when how crisis in one part of the world affects other parts of the world, there is no single economic, international or global economic theory. The economics or economic law we teach actually mostly revolve around the indicators of the nation state. So the point I'm trying to make is that while a lot of our problems come from being globally connected, our solutions are mostly of nation state centric. Now the way out could be through regional connectivity, It's actually at the regional points where both the global and nation state intersect. So conferences like this and coming up with some solutions on law can actually not only connect the region, but actually it can also provide solutions in the global realm. Now these problems, the problems at the global level are actually more pronounced at regional level. And you take example of South Asia. Although South Asia is one of the least connected regions of the world, there are people-to-people ties between different countries. Now I'm sure currency appreciation or depreciation in India is going to affect the import and export of Nepal. Same is the case with Pakistan's economic ties with Afghanistan. Floods in the Indus actually or Brahmaputra are not going to stop at someone's border. So that's how the problem comes in. And the third important issue which comes time and again about Trans-Himalaya or climate change, I would say, is also important for the South Asian, but not only in the context of environment, but I think also in the context of survival. You see, the entire South Asian man or the South Asian identity is built on rivers and rains and mountains. The plains of Punjab actually derive its folklore from being the river of 5 rivers. So if these rivers deplete, if there's any fluctuation or transformation in the pattern of rains, it's going to affect not only the environment but also threaten the identity of the communities living over there, and that's going to exacerbate further conflict. So the psychological aspect, I think, is often missing in not being connected. That's one aspect. And then obviously you have these non-state or violent groups. Two states, we see it frequently, especially in South Asia, but also all over the world. Two states come to loggerhead with each other, trying to blow apart each other just because some non-state actors cross the border and carry out attack. And again, the problem is because our response, our international response, is mostly often nation-state centric. So what happens is that the states try to blame each other, they externalize the conflict, and that further aggravates. So my submission or my request to this August audience actually would be to look at these problems from a regional angle and come up with regional solutions. The other point I just wanted to make about was the connection between law and justice system. In South Asia, we often say that the problem the masses actually face is about lack of implementation of law. The law is there, but it's not properly implemented. That's a common discourse. That's what people on street talk about. But as lawyer, actually, as law student, you know that often it's not about the implementation of law, but it's also about the poor drafting of law. So if laws are not properly drafted, then you're certainly going to see, and this comes time and again in our inability to actually deliver what Dr. Yubdal said, the social justice. When I now talk about the context of security or extremism in the South Asia, extremism or insecurity, if you just look at the trends, the extremism and insecurity also emanate from exclusion. Basically, exclusion lies at the core of what we call as extremism. And there are two types of exclusion. One, you have people across the South Asia, including in Pakistan, who are excluded by the state legally. I'm saying, I'm not talking about socially. So there are different categories of people. Some who are close to the center. There are now others who do not even have the proper national identity to prove their citizenship. So these are the most vulnerable people. Extremist groups we see, they actually take action or they take toll on those people who are already actually excluded by the state. So the state's stratification, legal stratification, my argument is that it provides enabling environment to the extremists to hit on them. And then the other is that there are excluded territories actually. Extremist groups we see, they thrive on the excluded territory. That's where insecurity mostly comes from. Across the South Asia, again in Pakistan, there are areas where you do not see the normal application of law.
5 minutes.
Distinguished professors, from different countries of Asia, distinguished guests, learned luminaries of this region, ladies and gentlemen, friends, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Kashmir School of Law to organize such an important event in Nepal, connecting Asian legal luminaries in Kathmandu and providing this opportunity to share some of my ideas within a given time of 5 minutes. Thank you very much. The effort made by Kashmir School of Law, particularly Professor Dr. Yuvraj Sangarola and his team, is very praiseworthy. As founder director of National Law College, Nepal, I am very glad to express that KSL has brought us to connect us, because Asia represents 59.6% population of the world, 30% of the world earth is occupied by Asians, and even in terms of population, 4.46 billion population live in Asia. From these perspectives, we need to further work to make Asia prosperous in the days to come, particularly to this decade. This is very important because we need to connect each other. We have to be we have constructed. Constructive role of law educators is very important to maintain rule of law in the region. These days, we are facing many challenges. Degrading human rights and rule of law is one of the major issues in the globe. It can be supported from this region. Because of that, this AALP's role is very important. Also, we need to provide exchange of students. We can develop common curricula in some aspects in the region. And what I am saying time and again is, this is high time to look at the East, not to the West. So we have to develop our own culture, own values. Common legal issues should be addressed through such a forum. And what I am saying, and I would like to share to all the learned personalities, that prosperity through law education that we require. These days, law education should not be left only to law education. It should be the tool for prosperity to this region. And we should not forget harmony. We should not forget economic prosperity and education. They should go together. And I always say, especially in very practical sense, there should not be politics in education, but there must be politics for rule of law. No politics in education, but politics for rule of law. That should be the mandate of the region, and I think this very noble gathering will discuss on this issue. Our common agenda may be peace and law and development. Also, our Pakistani friend very rightly raised the issue of climate change and environmental issues. That should be one of the agendas. Counter-terrorism, dignity, equality and justice in the region. It should be very important. China and India, as now they are growing economy. They are not only economic giant, they are also legal giant. We should learn from them, and we should also provide our inputs to these countries through the regional mechanism. So internationally, we should foster Asian values to the world, and Nepal can be one of the center of excellence because it is geographically the location of Nepal is very suitable to develop, to deliver, to discuss these matters, because the message from Mount Everest and the message from the land of Gautam Buddha would be very important to the legal luminaries. So, my sincere thanks to the organizations and the discussions and deliberations that will take place in the today's conference that will shape the future of Asian professors, especially law professors, and that would be the part of global legal academic forum. And the role played by Kathmandu School of Law, and even in the future some of the law schools of Nepal, they would be ready to join and to talk and to share the ideas about these issues. Having said this much, I would like to express my sincere wishes and for the successful of this conference. Thank you very much.
Spell out the time allocated for each one of us. Otherwise, the knowledge each one of our guests possesses, it would have been our honor to listen to you speak for long. I apologize in advance and I thank you for your understanding. Now, furthering the ceremony, please join me in welcoming Professor Zakir Hussain for his speech. He will also be addressing us for 5 minutes.
I have been serving over there. I have been dean for 3 times over there. And as a professor of law, I was also the member of the Judicial Service Commission. And currently, I am president of the Chittagong University Teachers Association. So, if I am spelled out as a professor of Chittagong University, Bangladesh government may deprive me from the service of Chittagong University. So, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to convey my sincerest gratitude to Kathmandu School of Law, especially Professor Obura Sangrula and his comrades for arranging this kind of program, especially the Association of the Asian Professors of Law. So why this is so important? I tell you a story. God has arranged a meeting with the angels. God was displaying that I have created everything with balance. Say for example, I have created 1 tiger and 10 deers. So I have made America, but I always kept they are anxious for security. I have also made Africa, but they cannot go every place as though it is very good. But then one angel stand up and said that, God, which is the best region in your opinion? Then God said that definitely Asia is the most beautiful region in my opinion. Then the angel said that why it is so beautiful, you said that you created everything with balance. They said that here the human being is very good, the soul is very good, very soft. Then the angel again asked that you said that you created everything with balance. Where is the balance here? They said that yes, there is a balance. You see that? Here always the good people are fighting. In order to resolve their fight, they need to bring the people from USA or Europe. So that's why this is a balance. So against this backdrop, I think that the professors, especially the law professors, whose one responsibility is to produce the graduate who will be working for conflict resolution, resolving the conflict. So that's why I believe that law professors should come here together. Especially if we look back, you see that law is an instrument of justice and empowerment. At the same time, law is an instrument of brutal exploitation, if not extortion. Many of you who know about the Roman history, Roman law, the Roman law was used to exploit the patrician people, exploited the plebeian people using this Roman law. So that's why in international law, you look at this. The first people said that, Western people said that slavery is good. We say that, okay, fine, slavery is good. We accept slavery. Then they said that colonialism is good. Then we said that colonialism is good. Fine, we accept also. Now they said that globalization is good. So now we challenge. No, globalization is not good. It is dirty, it is nasty. Because after the over the colonization, what we found that in international law, many of you who read international law, you found that the sources of international law, one of the sources of international is the general principles of civilized nations. Then who are civilized and who are not civilized? That is, colonized people are not civilized. Isn't it the case? In international law, in Article 38 of the International Court of Justice, still it is written, the sources of international law, general principles of civilized nations. That means we are colonized, we are not civilized. So again, if you look back, the international law, so they said that, again, in the name of globalization, they are imposing Washington consensus. What is this? The fiscal discipline, privatization, deregulation, all these kinds of things in the name of their own system of governance system. They are imposing on us in the name of aid. You can accept aid if you navigate to the domestic reforms in this way. So if we go this, we have a long history, Asia has a long history of governance. So especially for China, there was a big empire in China. The Chinese administration system, so far as I read that, Chinese administration and civil justice examination system was admired by and imitated even by thinkers like Voltaire. I found it. So if it is so, now they have imposed it on us that you have to accept this. So that's why we, the Asian professors, should come together. In 1955, a group of people met in Bandung, what we now call TWILA. So TWILA, that is the Asian, the third world approach to international law. So that TWILAs, they are now working. It started in 1955. Now it is our responsibility that from 1975, new trend is developed that we now challenge that general principles of international law is not general. Universal principles of human rights are not universal. I can show you that it is not universal. When they say they simply imposed their own values in the name of universal human rights. Say for example, so right to marriage, this could have been fine. Everyone has the right to marriage. But now they put that every spouse who are adult enough, they need not to consult with their parents. There is no problem with the religion and so race, caste, but that is not the case in Asia. In most part of Asia. So that's why there are many things is that this is not universal, but we accept this universal declaration of human rights and teach in the classroom that this is universal. So this is the time that we Asian professors come together and discuss that. What are the, we can also develop the Asian common law. So the Norman people went to England in 1067. They found out that the common customs and the common precedents and the common law came out. So in Asia also, despite diversities, we have commonalities. So we can bank upon the commonalities, we can bring together with a shared culture, with a shared history, and we have the shared commonalities bring together, and we also grow together. So united we stand, divided we fall. Thank you very much.
Gap of few years in him joining us recently, and we blame this gap for the error, and hopefully we hope that you will join us every year in the days to come so that we can avoid such an error. And sir, your positive words, humor and spirit and constant support to Kathmandu School of Law and all the activities concerning regional connectivity is highly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Kanwal D.P. Singh for her keynote speech. She will be addressing us for 10 minutes.
Large participation of prominent scholars and experts shows how this conference is important for each one of us. The initiative of AALP has been, as said, to foster the relation between different law schools in this region, and this cementing of relations can go a long way in making the world aware of the intellectual capabilities in this region. There is much more to life than only the word law. Life has many shades, and these shades are prevalent in Asia, bound together in our common heritage. The Asian law schools can get together and move against the myriad of law and form and we are working together to form an association that can work towards having the role of Asian law schools in the promotion of the truly international law, which is equal to developed as well as developing nations. The world has to be made aware of the concerns of this region, the commonalities that we face. Poverty, disasters, crime are the common threads that bind us together. The world has to be articulated. What are the problems that this region faces and what are the strengths that we have? And what better than the human resource available in the law schools in this region to promote and advocate our thought process to the world. As yesterday Professor Rahman put in, that what governments cannot talk, we can debate, discuss, and even present. The academicians can take the string of cooperation forward, foster our interest, foster our challenges, and face everything together. If we look at the awareness in this region, it is not that we are somewhere less than the Western world. We have to shed our colonial mindset and move towards making the region self-sufficient and also provide intellectual capability to the world. The living example of this is the funny cyclone that India and Bangladesh faced together. We were able to sustain it independently, but when the process of rehabilitation comes, the region has to work together. We have to develop a vision, the vision that shows that these are our challenges and this is how we can present it to the world, that we together come forward. The conference can make a good platform for all of us to work together, carry out this vision, promote a common heritage, and law teachers can play a very important role and a very critical role also to present to the world that Asia can do wonders. The coming century can be made an Asian century by cooperation, sustaining the growth that Asia has been experiencing in the last decade and sustaining that growth. We can take small steps. First, it can be an academic integration, then it can be an economic integration, and finally, it can be a political integration as well. The political allegiances should not come in the way of promoting the rule of law, promoting social justice, and we have to get forward, shedding these inhibitions and take the Asian region forward. I take this opportunity to thank the hosts and especially my student Ravi, whose impeccable planning is reflecting in the presentation of this conference. I once again thank each one of you for giving me this opportunity. A big thanks to the host institution. God bless, and we look forward to fruitful deliberations in the coming 2 days. Thank you very much.
The academic importance that this platform holds should indeed be internalized by us all present. It is upon us to capitalize on this opportunity of regional connectivity of law professors that we've been provided. Dear ma'am, thank you for your inspiring words. I would now like to invite Professor Saroj Vyas for her keynote speech of 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for our speaker.
Some of my friends said me, आप तो हिंदी में ही बोलिए, इसलिए नमस्कार, सुप्रभात, मैं प्रोफेसर सरोज व्यास। अभी जब सभी लोगों को डायस पे बैठे हुए और सामने जितने भी प्रतिभागी हैं उनको सुन रही थी और सोच रही थी, तो सबसे पहले जो चेहरा और जो एक छवि दिमाग में मेरे आई वो प्रोफेसर माधव मेनन की थी। उनके लिए कुछ शब्द समर्पित हैं मेरे। विगत हुए पल स्वर्णिम तो क्या, स्मृति के क्षण शेष तो हैं। प्रोफेसर माधव मेनन के जो स्वप्न थे उनको पंखों की उड़ान देने के लिए यहाँ पर प्रोफेसर युवराज संगरोला एंड प्रोफेसर मिजानुर रहमान साहब बैठे हैं। और यदि मैं कहूँ कि इस त्रिवेणी संगम के द्वारा दक्षिण एशिया के समस्त राष्ट्र और विशेष रूप से चीन और वियतनाम के जो प्रतिनिधि यहाँ आए हुए हैं वो निश्चित रूप से अभी जाकिर साहब ने जो अपनी पीड़ा व्यक्त की कि यूनिवर्सल, हम पाठ्यक्रम में विद्यार्थियों को कुछ और पढ़ाते हैं और वास्तविक जीवन की सच्चाई कुछ और होती है। तो कहीं ना कहीं जो द एशियन एसोसिएशन ऑफ लॉ प्रोफेसर्स का एसोसिएशन बनाने की इस परिकल्पना, इसको संगठित करने और इसकी संरचना का जब विचार प्रोफेसर संगरोला के मन में आया होगा तो निश्चित रूप से एक शिक्षक और एक गुरु होने के नाते कहीं ना कहीं वर्षों तक उन्होंने इस पीड़ा को महसूस किया होगा और उसके बाद उन्हें लगा होगा कि कहीं ना कहीं किसी को तो ये शुरुआत करनी होगी। प्रोफेसर संगरोला, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। कुछ शब्द हैं जो बहुत वर्षों से मेरे ही नहीं हम सब के दिमाग में घूमते थे, क्योंकि हम विभिन्न राष्ट्रों से हैं। यहाँ विभिन्न राष्ट्रों के प्रतिभागी प्रोफेसर्स और शिक्षाविद विराजमान हैं, कानून विशेषज्ञ विराजमान हैं। कहीं ना कहीं जब हम राष्ट्रों की बात करते हैं तो हमारे जहन में कभी कभी आता है और हमसे हमारा ही ज़मीर पूछ लेता है। चलते चलते पूछा मुझसे मेरे पाँव के छालों ने मंजिल कितनी दूर बसा ली दिल में रहने वालों ने। लेकिन प्रोफेसर मिजानुर रहमान और प्रोफेसर संगरोला और इनकी टीम ने जो ये पैर के छाले हैं इनको कहीं रहने ही नहीं दिया। इन्होंने तो केवल दक्षिण एशिया की बात नहीं करूंगी मैं, दक्षिण एशिया महाद्वीप से बढ़ करके आगे हमारे जो मित्र हैं चीन और वियतनाम, उनको भी साथ में जोड़ लिया और हम एक और प्रगति की ओर बढ़ते चले जा रहे हैं। बात हम कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर कानून जो हमारा है उसमें, या कानून किस तरह का होना चाहिए, कानून में रिफॉर्मेशन कैसे होना चाहिए। सर्व धर्म संभाव की कल्पना जो विश्व में है वो राजनेताओं से, धर्म गुरुओं से और हमारे जितने भी सामाजिक जो संस्थाएं हैं जिन्हें हम एनजीओ कहते हैं उनकी परिकल्पना से बाहर की बात है। क्योंकि गुरु जो होता है वही केवल एकमात्र ऐसा है जो अंधकार से प्रकाश की ओर ले जाता है। क्योंकि शिक्षक जो है, टीचर है, उसके लिए ना जाति है, ना धर्म है, ना राज्य है, ना राष्ट्र है और ना ही भाषा है। उसके लिए केवल एक ही डेफिनेशन है और वो है धर्म। धर्म से मेरा अभिप्राय यहाँ रिलीजन बिल्कुल भी नहीं है। मैं यहाँ हिंदू, मुस्लिम, सिख, ईसाई, क्रिश्चियन किसी की भी धर्म की बात नहीं करना चाहती। धर्म का मतलब है धारण करना, और धारण करने से मतलब है कि आप अपनी ड्यूटीज़ को, जो दायित्व आपको सौंपा गया है उसे करें। और कहीं ना कहीं इसी श्रेणी में आगे बढ़ रहे हैं आप लोग। एशियन एसोसिएशन ऑफ लॉ की संरचना और संस्थापना के लिए जो प्रोफेसर संगरोला ने दूरदृष्टि से व्यक्तिगत निर्णय लिया था, उसको आज हम सब मिलकर धरातलीय परिणाम के रूप में परिवर्तित कर रहे हैं। जहां एक और दक्षिण एशियाई राष्ट्रों में विदेशी वर्चस्व के दौरान उपनिवेशवाद, जिसमें नेपाल और भूटान सदैव ही स्वतंत्र रहे हैं, उन्हें हम सम्मिलित नहीं कर सकते, वो अनुभव भी छिपा है। दूसरी ओर भौगोलिक निकटता और सांस्कृतिक संबंधों की समरूपता भी विद्यमान है। दक्षिणी एशिया उपमहाद्वीप के राष्ट्रों में सांस्कृतिक विभिन्नता होने के उपरांत भी कहीं न कहीं एकता और समानता देखी जा सकती है। लेकिन इन एकता और समानताओं में भी अनेक जटिलताएं और चुनौतियों का उल्लेख किया जाना आवश्यक है। यथा पारंपरिक और आधुनिक सुविधाओं का सह अस्तित्व में होना, संवैधानिक राजतंत्र के साथ एक और धर्मनिरपेक्ष लोकतंत्र और दूसरी ओर सैन्य शासन का अनुभव विद्यमान है। उदाहरण के लिए बांग्लादेश एवं पाकिस्तान में लोकतांत्रिक सरकार के साथ साथ सैन्य शासन का होना, नेपाल में राजशाही के स्थान पर धर्मनिरपेक्ष प्रजातांत्रिक सरकार का गठन और भूटान में राजशाही से संवैधानिक राजतंत्र में सरकार का स्थानांतरण और गठन हो जाना। वर्तमान में दक्षिण एशियाई राष्ट्र निश्चित रूप से पाश्चात्य आधिपत्य से मुक्त हैं, तथापि स्वतंत्रता प्राप्ति के बाद भी हम बहुत बड़ी चुनौती उठा रहे हैं, जो अभी भी प्रोफेसर जाकिर ने अपने उद्बोधन में कहा। और इन सब के लिए विश्व पटल पर एशियाई राष्ट्रों को के विधि संस्थानों को, विशेष रूप से मैं लॉ इंस्टीट्यूशंस की बात कर रही हूँ, विधि संस्थानों को संगठित होने की नितांत आवश्यकता है, क्योंकि अकेला चना फाड़ नहीं फोड़ सकता। एशियाई देशों के विधि संस्थानों में कानून का अनुसरण करने के लिए हम पौध तैयार कर रहे हैं। हमारी विडंबना ये है कि हम जो कानून बने हुए हैं उन्हीं का अनुसरण करवाने के लिए हम कानूनविदों को तैयार कर रहे हैं, जबकि विशेष रूप से दक्षिण एशिया और सामान्य रूप से एशियन राष्ट्रों को मानव अधिकारों की रक्षा, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संबंधों की शीलता, संस्कृति के संरक्षण, सभ्यता के गौरव और जीवन दर्शन एवं आदर्श सांस्कृतिक मूल्यों को पुनर्जीवित करने के लिए शिक्षाविदों एवं कानूनविदों को संगठित होकर लक्ष्य आधारित योजनाओं को मूर्त रूप देना अनिवार्य हो गया है। प्रोफेसर माधव मेनन के स्वप्न को पंख देने के लिए प्रोफेसर मिजानुर रहमान, प्रोफेसर युवराज संगरोला अपने तन मन धन से प्रतिबद्ध होकर प्रयासरत है। भारत, नेपाल और बांग्लादेश के इस मानवीय त्रिवेणी संगम के प्रयासों से हम सभी अभिभूत हैं एवं कृतज्ञ हैं। दक्षिण एशिया महाद्वीप के राष्ट्रों को ही नहीं अपितु अपने पड़ोसी, अपने एशियाई देशों जिनमें पुनः मैं चीन का आभार व्यक्त करना चाहूँगी और वियतनाम की सहभागिता को भी हम सुनिश्चित कर रहे हैं। भविष्य में युवा पीढ़ी के लिए, कानूनविद एवं कानून निर्माताओं के लिए विश्व मानचित्र पर सर आपका ये प्रयास नींव का पत्थर साबित होगा और हम सब प्रतिभागियों की तरफ से, सभी प्रोफेसर्स की तरफ से, विशेष रूप से जो लॉ इंस्टीट्यूशंस और यूनिवर्सिटी से जुड़े हुए प्रोफेसर्स हैं, उन सब की तरफ से मैं आपका धन्यवाद करती हूँ, आपके प्रति कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करती हूँ और आपको आश्वस्त करती हूँ कि हमारा सहयोग और हमारा सानिध्य आपको हमेशा मिलता रहेगा और हम आपके साथ कदम से कदम मिलाकर चलने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। धन्यवाद।
It's very beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, I will not be able to translate the beauty and the poetic sense of what she delivered. However, the essence of her speech highlights tribute to our dear Professor Madhav Menon, her appreciation towards the organizers, Professor Sangrola and the team for such an initiation, and participants from all the countries for their presence. The fact that professors do not have any borders or divisions of country, religion, gender, etc., and the only virtue that the professors have is duty, and that this platform of AALP is and should continue to be a translation of it. And fourth, the challenges each one of our countries face and the role of collaboration in successfully overcoming all these challenges in form of protection of human rights, preservation of cultural diversity, developing capable legal practitioners, and inspiring our young minds to think high and strong. I hope, I'm pretty sure I did not do justice to her speech. However, this was a small attempt so that our friends who did not understand the language could get the essence of what she delivered. Now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming the ever-eloquent Professor Mizanur Rahman for his keynote speech of 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen.
And my very dear delegates of the Kathmandu Dialogue, a very good morning to all of you. Well, by now you must have seen that how capable the MC Mamata is. But probably something that you don't know. The documentary dedicated to Professor Madhava Menon was directed by none else than Mamata. So she's also director, so a very good hand for her. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it says, realizing 18th century understanding international law and governance. I would say that it's nothing but realizing the aspirations and dreams of our age, of our time, of our generation. That is what we are concerned with. And if that is formulated in this manner, no problem. But the core content of the century is realizing the aspirations and the dreams of the citizens of Asia, the common people of Asia, who have been in the side notes in the history so long. So, the AALP, or the Asian Association of Law Professors, in my understanding, is a forum where we can hold our head high and the mind is without fear. This has to be the motto of marching forward in addressing the challenges and the problems that we face today in our part of the globe in order to overcome those challenges. Nonetheless, probably we must not be we must be mindful of the fact that whatever we are doing today and tomorrow may be a very small step in Asia, the largest continent, but it's a great leap forward for the marginalized, vulnerable, poor people of the largest continent in the world. So from that part, from that perspective, I think AALP is a great initiative, which is, well, maybe very small, but small is always beautiful. And since small is beautiful, I am also confident that this small step will lead us to certain success stories that would be invaluable for other regions of the world and peoples. Well, last night, even Juvraj said that here in Asia, especially in South Asia, we have ideas. And take it from me, dear participants, that my last 2 days of interactions with the young minds from South Asia at the Kathmandu Dialogue, I have seen that how brilliant they are, how innovative they are, how proactive they are, how pro-people they are, how they're trying to understand the complicated issues of a region and find out ways and means of addressing those challenges. And that is where we repose our hope, our confidence, our trust that the future lies with them. The future lies with Asia. Future lies with people who are gathered in this room today. That is why probably we assembled together this morning. But the problem is, and why we need this separate platform is, that the traditional way of addressing the issues and challenges have been in a way which did not produce the desired results. Why? Because the traditional way of learning and the traditional lawyering, the traditional lawyers, they always oppose any kind of change. They are scared of changes. They are immensely comfortable with the status quo. But in order to reach the goals as AALP has identified, we need to change the status quo. We need to challenge it. And that is where we need the new breed of lawyers. Students who think a different way, who intervene in a different way. A platform where the professors would come and who would probably mold the thinking pattern in a totally different way. And that is what we've been trying to do in different manners in India, in Nepal, in Bangladesh, maybe in Pakistan as well. This is where Professor Madhava Menon brought all of us together. And this is what I call in Bangladesh that trying to produce a group of rebellious lawyers who'd change the order of the day and usher in a new age where our dreams would be realized. And I'm pretty sure that once we have floated this, once we have launched out, once we have gathered together under the same umbrella, the day is not that far when we would be singing in a chorus, Jana Gana Mana Udhinayaka Jayo He Sabko Bhagyo Vidhata. Thank you very much.
Dear sir, first of all, thank you for your kind words. You have indeed relieved a lot of mine and the organizers' stress. The smile on my face is much wider now. Your words, secondly, reminded me of the Neil Armstrong's quote during his first step on the moon, a small step for a man, but a giant leap for the mankind. And as you say, this step of collaboration is and will prove to be a giant leap for all of our legal professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our keynote speaker. And with this, I would also like to welcome Professor Lu Junrong for his keynote speech of 10 minutes.
Shangri-La, you invited me and my team to participate in the conference. And I would think AALP is very important and has its fundamentality to Asia and the Trans-Himalayan area. And this is common platform for the professor, particularly law professor, to get together to find solution for the common perspective of Asia and particularly Trans-Himalayan area. And this is, I think, is a part of BRI. This is also a contribution of BRI. This will serve the futures, Asia's countries, economical connectivity, environmental protection, and asymmetry remedy, and epidemics control, and cultural exchange, risk, and crisis management, and so on. And this also will help us to get rid of bullying practices and unilateralism and skepticism and cheating. Well, let us have opportunity to hug, embrace equally and multilateralism and mutual trust. We do think all countries in South Asia, Southeast Asia, and all Trans-Himalayan region and Asia have a right to enjoy the opportunity and the future of economic taking off and social stability, internal and external equality, and peace, and so on. The people shall also have the right to have the peaceful, rich, free, clean, and civilized and respected life. In this sense, and common and mutual prosperity is an issue of international political democracy and human rights. So, any power blocking accesses of Asia's Trans-Himalayan countries and people to economical and political bear-off is violating international order of justice and depriving Asia's people's rights to be bear-off. Against this background, we can easily find the fundamentality and importance of AALP. The law professors and concerned professors' team of broad wisdom and responsibility in AALP can make a difference to the future of Trans-Himalayan region and all Asia. As the largest developed country, China launched BR initiative to enhance all-round development in the member economies on the principle mutuality, equality, and justice. Now, China's economical and whole social get great and obvious improvement, and people enjoy better and rich life, peace, and happy. I think this is not only story of China. This is story of all countries in the Trans-Himalayan region. So guarantee the mutuality, the justice, and equality are also coincident with the duty of AALP. So AALP will become an effective drive to put BRI ahead and serve Trans-Himalayan and Asia perspective as well. Therefore, today, the conference and the AALP are the big events. It's my honor to enjoy and have the membership of AALP. And congratulations to AALP and congratulations to Professor Shangri-La. Congratulations all distinguished scholars present today. Thank you.
To overall development of the Trans-Himalayan region, including the protection of human rights. Thank you for joining us today and helping us further this initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a strong believer of the fact that the first step must be initiated with a bang. But today I'm not quite getting the vibe of the excitement an opening should hold. I know that our KD delegates had a little bit of late night cultural reception yesterday, but the claps are a little less enthusiastic. So for the next clap, I believe all of our participants will join me in giving us the feeling of that excitement, of that bang, for lack of a better word. So please join me in welcoming our chair, Professor Yuvraj Sangrola, for his inaugural address of 15 minutes.
Recognizing both in left and right
very esteemed colleagues, and also participants from different institutions and different countries from Asia. Also delegates from Kathmandu Dialogue, very young and enthusiastic participants. I would like to greet you first in this very special moment. 2 years before, in Kathmandu, a small team from Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, India, we gathered and then had a very long discussion. Professor Mijan was there, myself was there, Smile was there, and then from India, a couple of other colleagues, including Raj Sandhu over there. We thought, do we need a kind of institution or the association that focuses on teaching law in a different way, international law especially? Why do we teach Hugo Gross's every time, who says that international law is a body of principles applicable to the civilized nation? And in 1856, Paris Conference on Colonialism said that colonialism is necessary. Why? Because these people in Asia and Africa are uncivilized. So the God has given a responsibility us to civilize them. So we cannot go back from the responsibility of humanity to civilize other. Then they came. Then they asked a question. How should we civilize them? And they thought that we should civilize them by changing their language into our language, changing their food style into our food style, changing their culture into our culture, and most importantly, making them yellow brown faces with Western intellectual. Macaulay said in India, we need to have a lot of dark faces, human being with Western intellect who wear tie like this. And then therefore Kenyan poets say that they came to Africa, asked us to close the eyes and asked us to extend the hand, and then they said that open your eyes. Then we opened the eyes. We had Bible in the hand, but our land had gone. And then they introduced a legal system. Bentham wanted to integrate criminal legal system of UK into one code. He said that this scattered law is not going to work. Then they drafted a criminal and penal code in UK. But the British Parliament was not interested to implement it. So the British Parliament advised informally, okay, you do it in India first, in the colony. And then this group of people, James Mill, Bentham, and many others came with an integrated penal code. And they introduced it. They killed entire legal system of South Asia. They destroyed justice system of South Asia. We had a system of argument, lawyers well called chikitsak, logician. We train lawyer as logician and we train judges as lawyers. A very distinctive system of justice was there. It was entirely derooted. They have gone in 1947, but the Indian Penal Code still exists. Why? Why we should continue 100 years long law where we are talking about computer today. We're talking about telephones. We are talking about PowerPoint. But then we still are having the legal system which colonials introduced 100 years before, and we still are happy to tell that Austin says law is the command of sovereign. We are democratic countries. How can we teach our students that Austin says law is the command of sovereign? We tried to interject these ideas a couple of years before. We did talk in India, we did talk in China, we did talk in some other countries. We do have another platform, so Asian Law Deans Forum. Asian Law Deans Forum is a very high profile forum. I do participate frequently. But it's a privileged platform because law schools put a lot of money in it. So we do talk less, we drink much. Varieties of wine and champagne we have in that meeting. So we thought in Korea, a couple of years before that, should not we have a law professors association where law professors will come to join together, discuss, learn from each other, write paper, make them presented, write articles, publish better journals in Asia, and then bring legislation of all South Asian and Asian countries together, translate them in different languages, publish the judgment of the court, the higher court, and share with each other. Most importantly, do research together and develop new ideas. So we're not saying that we should completely depart from the Western development. We're together. But together does not mean that we teach their law in our context. Context is different. So our students have become parrots. Our students do not understand the context of our society. So they argue British common law in the court. The people do not understand. Our judges, our high courts and our supreme courts, especially in South Asia, write judgment in English. Common people do not understand. We should write the judgment in our national language and we should translate those important. But to be so a smart judge, we cannot afford writing judgment in English so that entire population is always running to the lawyers to say, ask what this judgment says about my case. So justice should not be a privilege of lawyers and judges. Justice should be an instrument of transformation and prosperity of the people. So that's what Mother Menon. And we discussed in Bangalore in 2014. We invited a lot of judges over there and we criticized them the way they have been writing judgment, which even I don't understand our law professors to teach. They're abstract, they're vague, and they can be interpreted in any way. So that's what happens. The district court we interpret in another way, go to the high court, and the high court judgment we interpret in another way, we go to the Supreme Court, and when we go to the Supreme Court, they write the judgment. Actually, we don't understand anything because they use the common law principle. They cite Justice Coke. Justice Coke was for the Britain, not for India, not for Nepal. So we thought that this is now an era. Asia has emerged economically. Asia has now become a democratic continent in the world. Asia has now become a very prominent place of contributing to the other continent. So therefore, we should start thinking. That was the decision. The NADOC committee was formed that time. Unfortunately, this conference was supposed to be last year. But then the date was decided. The government of Nepal issued a date for the election. And then we thought that it would be really unrealistic to organize a conference in a country, in a situation where the new constitution is going to be implemented fast with a big ambition of having big election campaign. And we thought that we did a good decision. So this is now.
We wanted more participants to come. But see, this time there is no money. This is an initiation. Most of the colleagues asked for tickets. And I said that no one is going to pay. No NGOs is supporting. And I said no government should be requested, at least for this post-conference. And no NGOs will be requested for that. So this is a voluntary participation. So 10 people come would be enough, because then there would be an official body to go with, to organize and invite all. So that's how this is there. I do often talk, we have a unique principles of international law. South Korea and North Korea have been fighting for long. Sometimes they terribly fight, but they have divided between them, and there is a place called demilitarized zone. Demilitarized zone is working in these countries of boundary and also a concept to see each other, see their families, see and meet leaders over there. But how many with the Asian did do research on demilitarized concept of international law? Whereas we already have developed a very, very nice concept. These warring states even are ready to respect the agreement that is called demilitarized zone. So in the demilitarized zone, they meet, they discuss. And this is a place where there are no United Nations peacekeeping force. They are managing themselves. See, equally important concept between Pakistan and India. Line of control. Frequently they are fighting. The exchanges of guns. But then the fighting is to respect the line of control. India says that Pakistan crossed line of control, therefore we fired. Pakistan says that India crossed the line of control, therefore we fired. So that there is a commitment to respect the line of control. I have not seen a single Indian professor talking about line of control. Is a concept of international law. And there is no United Nations force living in Kargil to control Pakistan and India. Rather, there was a video. On the side of the barbed wire, Pakistani soldiers, and this side Indian soldiers, they were playing cards. In between there was a wire, barbed wire, but they were playing cards. This is a sense of international law. We are not thinking about it. China is beset with the Western education system too. In Kathmandu dialogue, like we every year get one Chinese student. But they go to Korea, they go to UK, they go to Oxford, they go to America, because China has a lot of money now. But China is a country which has one country, two system. It's not an international concept. A beautiful international concept. But there is not a single Chinese professor I found who has written this concept of international law, where it talks about one country, two system. If there is a conflict, like we can divide the system, but we can keep the country together. I made a presentation in 2014 in Renmin University. This was a concept. After I made this presentation, a couple of professors started talking in the podium, like saying something, and I thought that probably I made a mistake. I really was offered, and I didn't talk much about it. I sat down, but they went out, and they thought that this is a unique idea. So going outside, the dean and other decided to give me the Grand Forum of the Best Jurist of Asia award, and then they came with it. Why we are not doing research on it? Peace zone proposal. Indian Ocean as a peace zone proposal. We declared Indian Ocean as a peace zone proposal. We didn't work it. Now it is changed by Indo-Pacific strategy. So in the place of peace zone, without we worked. Now in the place of the peace zone, we have an Indo-Pacific strategy a very cruel policy which probably will divide Asians again. So this platform therefore is devised to think of Asia, not to distinguish ourselves from Europe and then create a sectarian system of law, but to integrate the international system of law. In the International Law Commission, it's not only the international law principles from the articles written by the Eurocentric professor, but there should be discussion of Asian version of international law also. So, this is a very important platform that we have been thinking. And then we think, therefore, Asia should come to share legal resources. It should publish journals in different languages. It should publish important high court judgments for understanding of order. It should share very important social, economic development legislation to each other. And then it should also work together. So, AALP is considered to be a new platform where we discuss. We share our opinion. Very informally, we say, this is what I have been teaching in India. This is what I have been teaching in Vietnam. This is what I have been teaching in China. And then we learn from the best practices. We know each other. We know each other's system. Splendid socialist system have been developed by two socialist countries in Asia, Vietnam and China. But these systems have been bitterly criticized by the Western critics. And then we read these articles from Perenboom and other, because we have a mindset, when white man says, we should believe. When non-white man says, we should first doubt, and then we should discuss, and only we believe. This is a mindset we work with. We distrust to ourselves. We never believe that we can create equally important literature, legal literature. So we don't cite. Last time in the court, in Supreme Court, I said, why don't you cite Nepalese jurist, Nepalese lawyer's book in Supreme Court? But William Wolf might be a very young student in the United States, and you cite them. But you don't cite Madhav Menon. You don't cite Mijanur. I am also not a very junior lawyer. That's what I said. But still they don't it. So our judgments have been citing the Westerners. This mindset will ultimately kill us. We will be, if this mindset goes in, an economic development we have, we will be peak. We will eat a lot of food, but we don't enjoy intellectuality, because we will be in comfort zone, the intellectuality given by the Western jurisprudence. And that jurisprudence is not developed considering our problem. Let me tell you one example, and then I will finish. In one of the remote villages, I had been with the students for a month. I found a man who I knew. And then he rushed to me and said that, oh, sir, you are in the district. Yes. You should come to my son's marriage. Yeah, I'm very lucky. I'm very privileged to find you. I said, okay, I will definitely come. And when? The date is fixed, I will send you the invitation. But I was expecting invitation did not come. I became a little bit angry with him. He said that he would invite, but then he didn't. Next week, I saw this man again in the same market. And I said that you said that you would invite me for the marriage, but you didn't do it. Oh, sir, the marriage is cancelled. And I said that, why? Because the girl's father is having a case in the court. See, litigation is hatred in our part of the society. Litigation is not preferred, but 90% of the legal education is about litigation and court's judgment, whereas only 10% about the parliament's legislation, which creates the law, but we don't teach legislative principle. We don't teach social audit of the legislation. We don't teach rationalization of international law in legislation, and therefore we have been creating our students as parrots of the Supreme Court, but not the mind of the society. So therefore, this is not an era now of legal education. This is now an era of justice education. So we have to transform legal education into justice education. If India and China, and also Vietnam, India and China and Vietnam with socialist background of law, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan with former common law experience of the law, Nepal and Bhutan enjoying very indigenous system of law. That is a privilege of not being colonialized. And then vast number of other countries in South Asia, Southeast Asia, Japan and other. If we sit together and we try to find out lacunas in our law from another country, I think we can make the best legal system of the world. This platform is just a beginning for that. Next year, we will be convening a bigger conference, hundreds of papers that we want from many countries. Try to look at the legal system of Asia and start publish journal. AALP will start publishing a journal this year, and we want Vietnam to translate in Vietnamese language. We want China to translate in Chinese language. We want other countries to translate and then publish. Therefore, we start coming to connectivity. So with these words, I would like to welcome you. Please engage yourself seriously in presentation of paper. Let's have some very good ideas, float it first, and with these ideas, the next conference would be there. Do you know I was born as a very small baby? I was not born like this. So everything first time is small. It's a baby, but the baby is very intelligent. The very time it burns, it knows how to influence mother to feed her or feed him. And then he or she is fed. And next year, it starts walking, taking support of the wall. After 2 years, it starts bowling. Bangladesh, India, favorite game, cricket. And on 4th year, it starts kicking football. In 5th year, it starts going to school. In 20 years, he will get married and have a baby. So we are first year. We're just born. So we need many mothers. So there are 5 mothers, Kathmandu School of Law, Guru Govinda Indraprastha University, Trans-Himalayan Institute, PIPS, and Dhaka University. So these 5 mothers will take care of this baby this year. From next year, you have to start taking care of it. Thank you very much.